Okay. Fine. Save changes. All right. Howdy, y'all. There's been a lot going on. So I thought I would just get on live and kind of do some discussion on what has been, and there's probably noise. I think the roofers are back. We're getting a new roof. You know you're an adult whenever you get excited about things like new shingles. Since most of our shingles have ended up in either Texas or Kansas, having new shingles is exciting. Good morning. I wanted to show y'all with everything that's going on, and I did share this in the community. I think. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. This channel here. Where am I? Okay. I'm only on my second cup of coffee, so I'm moving a little slow. Let's see, screen share. Okay, this is the channel. This is the video. If you haven't watched this yet, this is the one. This is the one to watch. They did a very good job with it. They got several witnesses speaking on several different channels and stuff, and they did a very good job. I'm noticing a lot of people who are even I don't quite know how to say it. There's some videos getting deleted. Okay, I'll put it that way. TikTok video, a guy kind of having fun, not making fun of the situation at all, but having fun with the some of the information. The person that supposedly did this supposedly also did a video the next day, and this is a guy that talks about time traveling and stuff, and his video got removed. So I don't know if he removed it himself or what, but it's like, okay, his videos are just fun, kind of, trying to make, I can't remember what his name, I think it's Maddie something on TikTok. But he does, fun things like, what if this relates to this? And, kind of like some of the old stuff that people would do with the JFK and how it kind of related to, it was so similar to the, like I said, I'm only on the second cup of coffee. Hold on just a second. Good grief. You can tell I'm just doing this right off the bat. Just anyway, let's see. It was Abraham Lincoln, the JFK and Abraham Lincoln, how, so many things seem like they lined up, right? And this guy does those. Hi, Kimberly. And anyway, it's just fun stuff. So I don't know why they would have deleted his video. That's just weird that they would have taken a, satirical conspiracy theory type thing, because he's got like a wall behind him with all the strings going back and forth between things, just to make it a lot of fun. And he's from Pennsylvania, so that too. But yeah, they deleted his video, and it's like, why would you delete a satirical video like that. That's weird. There's just some weird things going on. So Shipwreck shared a video on her Good Morning Milk and Honey Ministries. That came up really odd. Person turquoise waving speech. I'm only on the second cup of coffee, so Anyway, Shipwreck had a video on TikTok. I usually catch her on TikTok. I don't get her on Twitter very much since it's X now. Shelly's not over there, so it's not as much fun anymore. You know, Shelly quit going over there, so it's just not as much fun. I have to go in there and check my messages every once in a while because I've got a few people that leave me interesting tidbits over there. So I have to go over there every once in a while and check those. But anyway, Shipwreck shared a video showing Trump at his, first public thing since this happened. And he didn't look right to me. Usually he's got that sarcastic kind of smirk, and grin on his face, like he's happy and you want to slap him type of thing. But this was almost a downtrodden look. I was having a hard time I was showing it to my husband, hunky hubby, and I'm like, I'm having a hard time putting this into words, but it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. So yeah, Rachel, he not himself, like he was gutted. So I can't imagine that being what did it. I can't imagine. I mean, hi Corey. I'm so glad you guys made it. I just decided to do this just kind of an all of the sudden. And I'm already sweating because I had to turn off the fans. It's not as hot today, and it's not supposed to be as hot for the rest of the week, but it was definitely over 110 yesterday. Whatever the Mesonet was showing, all of their things must have been in the shade for the day or something, because they were not showing the heat that was yesterday. And the barometric pressure, I am going to start. I am starting. I started yesterday. I've been threatening to do this for a while, but I'm going to start to. I've started now, finally. Writing down the barometric pressure every day and then how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like when there's a storm rolling in, I'm feeling good. But then, you get like this heat and stuff, and I feel awful. Had a big down on your knees moment. You know what? I think a lot of people are doing that. I'm getting you. I'm getting you. I am actually doing a Bible study with a couple of friends. Now, don't judge me, okay? Okay. It is Rediscover Catholicism by Matthew Kelly. Okay. One of the little girls that I've been doing Mima preschool with, her daddy's Catholic. But he doesn't seem to understand the background. He doesn't think it's Christian. So anyway, I wanted a little background, a little more background than what I've got. I've got some wonderful Catholic friends who are definitely born again believers. Okay. And on part, and the Catholics get taught about the watchers and stuff where we don't, the others. Anyway, this is actually, it should be rediscovering Christianity. And I don't even like using the word Christianity, but just historical reasons and what the word means. But, rediscovering our faith. So anyway, I'm doing a book study with these two Catholic friends of mine. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of to that point that we really, and I've had several women telling me from around all over the place here lately, that we are feeling this. I don't know how to explain it. So if somebody can put it into words, but it's like, oh my goodness, we need to get serious. You know what I'm saying? Are you guys feeling that? Corey, yes, I'm in Oklahoma City and the weather is weird. Tomatoes and peppers are not happy. I haven't even looked at ours. My tower garden is not happy. Yeah, I've got a few plants in there that are growing, but they're not doing real great. And I'm not having good luck starting new seeds to get it full. I mean, last year at this time, I had a ton of salad stuff coming out of my tower garden. And this year, not so much. So I don't know if it's just not as happy in the spot that I've got it this time, or if we've got too much air going through because my top's kind of short and it's been torn up. I don't know. But we've got some yellow squash. So I need to do fried yellow squash. I love fried yellow squash. So anyway, but yes, Kimberly, yes. I think about that. I've got a planner. It's called my brains, and brains on paper, and I've been kind of ignoring it the last month or so. So yeah, I'm going to start writing down the barometric pressure, and I probably should write down like if I have anything different to eat and things like that too. I hate keeping a food journal. I hate that. And I suggest that to people, to others. I'm suggesting that to others, but I hate doing it myself. So it's like, they say doctor is the worst patient. Well, midwife is also the worst. So there's that too. But yeah, it's time to get serious, right? Yes, it's time to get serious. So I'm sitting here and Paul and I were talking, Hunky Hubby and I were talking this morning, and he's just, like, oh my goodness, right? And I'm like, well, what is coming up in my feed? And you guys tell me if this is coming up in my feed is a fairly consistent reminder of do not allow things that are happening right now to divide us, and do not believe either side of the media right now. Do not believe either side, and do not allow any of this stuff to divide us. And I think that is an excellent message. And I told him that that's what I'm seeing coming in different places, from different places. And he's like, wow, well, that's good. And I'm like, yes, that is good. So I have a few predictions, and they might have already happened because I don't listen to, to them talk or anything. I get press releases, but they're mostly just Oklahoma press releases. I predict that the T guy is going to give a hunk of money and major condolences to the one that was lost during the event. I've got to be careful how I say things. But I want everybody to realize that that's something any of us would do. Okay. Because I'm sitting there talking to Paul and I'm like, we would do that. We would do that. If somebody got it instead of me, I would be doing everything I possibly could for their family, because you can't make up for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, not being led by either side. Gave up gluten. Oh, sweetheart, you are my hero. I probably should give up gluten. We've given up, for the most part, MSG, natural flavors, stuff like that. Yes, yes. I found out the foo-foo coffee while I was working at the newspaper, and I even text my doctor. I'm like, foo-foo coffee bad. Makes the inflammation go woof berserk. So yeah, this is actually Folgers right here. My husband was trying Sun Coffee yesterday, so I let him try one of the Folgers coffee bags. And other than the fact that it's got a little twang, it's okay. But I have basically gone to an organic coffee pod. And if you guys would like the information about it, I'd be happy. Even our oldest thinks it's awesome. So that's pretty good. And she's, no, our second also drinks coffee. They're really the only two. So I'm the only one that drinks coffee in the house right now. So it doesn't make sense for me to make a whole pot. So especially it's hot in the summertime and I make it on the stove. You know, I've got the stainless steel Coleman old fashioned coffee, right? And sometimes I'll do cold brew. But anyway, I've been doing like organic coffee and feel so much better with that. And I like my coffee. Got a book of catechism. Yeah, I actually did catechisms. I think it was like a Westmeyer catechism or something with our children. I have a little primer book that I did bits and pieces of it with our children, and we did catechism. I think catechism is a good idea, definitely. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I bet it would. I bet. So sad. So sad. And Hunky Hubby was like, why is it always like a fireman? There's so much with the fireman. And I'm like, well, the people that were behind him, they're gonna be the people that tend to be out there more, right? So I'm not surprised that it was a fireman, a fire chief of I wouldn't have been surprised had it been a veteran, you know. But just right there with the whole family. I mean, you could hear the screams, you know, and those were screams of something bad's happened. Yes, fufu coffee bad. You grind your own. I have a grinder. I could grind my own. I'm lazy. These are in pots. It is like I got used to doing this with the newspaper because Paul's a tea drinker, so we have a kettle, a tea kettle, and I could just put that pod in my to-go cup in my Yeti or whatever and pour the boiling water over it and get out in the vehicle. And by the time I got to work, it had brewed nicely. And so I just got used to these pods. I'll pull it up and show you guys. I don't know. Let me see if I can find it. Do it. Oh, you're in books departments. There it is. This baronet. Let's see. Screen share. This is the one that I get. You can tell like it's on my. It's not. I don't do the subscribe and save. We don't like to subscribe, but they have that available, and you get a little bit of a discount. But anyway, this is what I do, and it comes 3 packages, and I get that about once a month. Sometimes it depends on how much coffee I do, but yeah, that's what I do, and it's these little pods. I don't think it kind of shows a picture. 18 pods per bag. So that usually lasts me a month or maybe a little bit longer, depending on how much coffee I'm doing. And I guess it's for some kind of a snazzy machine or something. But it's good. It's really good. And so that's what I've been doing, coffee-wise. And it's easy. Since, like I said, since I'm the only one in the house that drinks it. Catherine said she did find just the grounds, and you can probably get beans from them too. I just haven't looked, and grind your own, but they seem to be pretty good. Anyway, let's see. There was some other stuff. I had this. The youngsters are are being, there's some of the youngsters, I'm just, TikTok is where you can really get a feel for where people are. And you've got some of the youngsters that are just trying to be as irritating as possible. Just, they don't like anything. They don't like anybody. They're unhappy people. And then you got some of the youngsters that are noticing things and are trying to unravel themselves from things that they've been taught. And when they do, they do. And it's like, I am so proud of them, because that takes a lot to stand out, to decide to be different and to walk a different stream. And the grouchy ones, they think they're walking against the stream, but they're not. They're walking right with the stream. They're heading right toward everything that everybody else is doing. But they get on there and they start picking on the stupidest thing. And there was this one thing that they've got this game that I do, some of my children enjoy. It's Genshin Impact, I think is what it's, Genshin Impact. I'm terrible. It looks like a really sweet game, and it's got beautiful graphics and stuff. The girls don't have enough britches on it as far as I'm concerned, but other than that, it's really pretty. It's a really pretty game. I get seasick, so I can't play it with them because I get seasick. But somebody was complaining about the lack of melanin colored individuals in the game, and somebody came up with if you were going to have a Chinese party at your house and you were going to do all of the things, and you were going to do, I can't remember what they said, red envelopes and the cute outfits that they've got. And I can't remember if they said something about paper lanterns. Is that Chinese or Japanese? I don't remember. Anyway, it's Asian. And yes, I say Asian because I was told to say Asian by somebody who told me I was being racist. And anyway, they were saying this whole thing, and then you didn't invite any Chinese people. You have this big Chinese party, but then you didn't invite any Chinese people over. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. I live in an area where we really don't, we have Chinese people around, but I don't think any of them would be allowed to come to a party if I invited them. Okay. Because we have a situation here. But generally speaking, this is an area where people moved from, we've got Irish and German, mostly Irish and German out here. And then a lot of them married Native Americans. So a lot of us have Native American of some tribe or another. And, a majority of Oklahoma, the main part of Oklahoma, was Indian territory. But no man's land, the panhandle, where I'm from, it wasn't. It was, nobody wanted it. Okay? Nobody wanted that. Texas didn't want it. Kansas didn't want it. Indian territory didn't want it. And this was where, the Cheyenne Arapaho kind of went through, and Jesse James and the Outlaws, because you can hide anything out here. Yeah. So, this person is asking, it is basically saying it wouldn't be good for you to have a cultural party without inviting those people. And the only, other culture that we have out here is the Mexicans that have come up, and now we've got Guatemalans and stuff. We've got a little different mix now than what we had. But, and I've had parties with Mexicans, and they've taught me how to make tortillas and things like that. So that's, you do that. But we don't have a wide variety of cultural people. It's not a city. It's a very rural area. So it's not like the next door neighbors are Chinese and I can invite them over and say, hey, let's have a Chinese party, or some Japanese or some Indians. We've had Indians out here. But I've heard that their parties, that their food's really hot. So anyway, he's saying this person, he, she, I don't know who it is, but anyway, they're saying this. So, and oldest son, he was getting into the comments and making issues because it seemed unfair that they're making this. I've seen the game and I've wondered why there wasn't a more variety. I mean, they've got lots of variety of hair color, pink and purple and blue or whatever, but they don't have a variety of skin colors. And it's like, if they had pink and purple and blue or whatever, that'd make sense, but it doesn't. And I've wondered about it, but it's not my game, so I'm not worried about it. Right. But anyway, this person's making fun of it. And I decided to comment, of course. And, the children tell me, Mom, do not engage. Mom, do not engage. Well, I did. And I'm like, well, do Chinese people have cowboy parties? And if you have a cowboy party, are you going to invite a cowboy? And they said, yes, they were. And I'm like, yeah, no, they don't have cowboy parties in China. And I'm like, wow, because all of the cowboy party supplies that we buy to have a cowboy party out here are from China. They're made in China. So I'm like, and you don't use those party supplies over there? Baloney. But anyway, and they're like, no, we don't have cowboy parties. And yes, we would have to invite a cowboy. And I'm like, well, cool. I'll come to your cowboy party if you'll come to my China party. There we go. Took care of that. I, in college, ran around with the foreign exchange students in college. And we had one from Indonesia, one from Korea, one from Pakistan. And we had parties. Oh, and one from somewhere in Africa. I know Africa is very, very big, and I cannot remember which country she was from. She was amazing. They were all pretty amazing. We teased the Pakistani guy. I won't tell you what we called him because we couldn't say his name. But anyway, we had fun with him. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. So we had none of us drank. So that was nice. And so we would have parties, and they would each bring a dish. And they would do a thing. And they were all very polite of one another because the Pakistani guy didn't eat pork. He would try to make sure to, do chicken or something instead. All very polite. This is 1990, okay? These are 80s kids. These are, well, I mean, they're as old as me or older. So all the Gen X. So we've got these youngsters that are trying to say that Gen X is the most terrible generation in the world. But yet we were having a blast. What is the problem with these kids? I don't get it. So anyway, and I'm sitting here, I homeschool. I can't say I homeschool anymore because the youngest graduated. And they were never enrolled in an institution at all. I homeschooled them from the beginning. And I wanted to teach our children about the different cultures around the world. Well, I don't have access to those cultures. And until we had internet, later in the 90s and then into the 2000s, we didn't have access. We did the best we could. So we bought, cookbooks that had multicultural recipes in them. I bought books by missionaries about the countries that they worked in. Anytime a missionary came through the area, we would try to go see them and learn about the culture that they were working in and things like that. We did everything that we could because I wanted the children to have a taste of the cultures around the world. It's we prayed for the people, tried to keep up with, natural disasters that were happening around the world and things like that. And if you guys would like to see some of the books that I used for that, I would be happy to go through those books at some point too. I could get them out and show you kind of what we did. But, and then I've got these young people telling me that I shouldn't do that if I don't have somebody from that culture here. Well, how would my children know anything about their culture if I didn't do the best I could with what I had? I think city people, and especially people who really haven't been out of the city much, do not understand how the rest of the world lives. You know what I'm saying? They just assume Chinatown is down the street for everybody. And it's not. I have never been ever to a Chinatown ever in my life. So what am I supposed to do? Right? I mean, we've got Chinese restaurants here. Those people don't tend to be very chatty and want to visit. Whereas I could take my children to the eye doctor and I could say, hey, we're homeschooling, we're learning about the eye. Do you have time? And they would pull out their eye puzzle and go through all the parts of the eye and talk to us. We go visit some of the old timers out here, and they're pulling out, a lap harp or taking the children out and showing them their fossils out in their pasture and all kinds of stuff. I mean, but we go to an Asian restaurant and those people aren't going to stop and take time to talk to us about their culture. So there's only so much you can do. And to be, like I'm being put down because I'm trying and it's not good enough for a bunch of youngsters who know nothing about my culture and are trying to tell me what I'm doing regarding theirs is wrong. I've got issues with that. Okay, I will pull out those books. I need to do a homeschool thing at some point in time. So I will pull out some books and stuff to show you guys. Now, I don't know if they're still in print, but a lot of times on Amazon, you can get a lot of these books used. But yeah, if you guys would like me to do a book thing, I'll do a book. Somebody wanted me to do, because I did a book thing on homestead books. Roots and Refuge did a collaborative thing, and I pulled up my favorite books on that. So that's in my YouTube videos in the homestead playlist. But that was a lot of fun. And somebody said in the comments that they'd like to see that on the sewing books. And I looked around and I'm like, I've got a lot of sewing books, but they are a just in case type of a scenario. I don't use them. I don't use them. And I've got one knitting book that I only basically use it to cast off, because I always forget how I'm supposed to cast off, because it takes me a year to make a shawl, to knit a shawl. I'm just slow and not consistent with my knitting. And by the time the year is over, I have forgotten how I need to cast off. So as a matter of fact, I've got a shawl that need to go ahead and cast off with it. But so I use that only for that one piece. I've got some crochet books, but I tend to use the little pamphlets that you get, like at Hobby Lobby or something with crochet ideas in them. And I basically only do doilies and maybe washcloths in crochet. I don't do a whole lot. So anyway, I just, as far as crafty books, I'm a fly by the seat of my skirt person. So, but the libraries are not great, especially for homeschoolers. So, especially for Bible believing homeschoolers, I'll put it that way. So through the years, we started homeschooling in 1995. Yeah, 1995. And so and I'm looking because I've got shelves up all over the place. I have gradually collected my own library. And so that's that. So I can totally go through that with you guys. Let's see. The other thing I was going to talk about was timelines. There's been several things online, several people talking about the timeline has shifted. And they're new agey people. And they've got this idea that timeline has shifted and things are going to get better. And well, I'll believe it whenever I see it as far as that's concerned. But what, I don't know. I mean, I think something has shifted. I think we're feeling something has shifted, right? But yeah, having your own library is a good idea. Definitely. Yeah. I think something has definitely shifted. And I think like I'm a prepper. Okay. So not in the more extreme sense, but just generally speaking, I like to make sure that we've got at least a couple of months worth of food available. I have my own library, so if we don't have books available, I have enough that would be able to get us by. And I have a stash of fabric that I could probably make blankets from now until, the end of time. Or clothes or whatever is needed there. So it's yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? Timeline shift. I've just been, like I said, most of the people that are saying this type of thing are new agey. Have I missed something? I'm not supposed to have any caffeine for an hour after a wake because of cortisol. You know what? I don't drink coffee for the first hour. One of the first homeschooling books that I got was the Successful Homeschool Handbook, I think it is, by Raymond and Dorothy Moore. They're Seventh-day Adventists, and they have this Moore formula. But they talk about the Hebrew way of learning. They also have, Seventh-day Adventists have a lot of health stuff. Most of them are vegetarian and things, but they do know some things. It's a really good book. If you haven't read that one and you're anywhere interested in homeschooling, that is an excellent book to start out with. I'm so thankful that the Lord started me on that one. But they suggest that you drink a quarter every morning before you eat anything or anything. So I take my raw thyroid, my 5-HTP, first thing in the morning, and I try to drink a quart of water. And so, yes, I do try to do that. And I usually try to eat my breakfast first too. The only problem is I eat eggs for breakfast, and then I drink coffee, and the caffeine kind of cancels out the magnesium in the eggs. There's a study in there that, so that is kind of an issue, but I take magnesium. I take Mago 7 every night before bed. So I think I'm okay. The coffee is my comfort. So yeah, it does feel like there's a shift of some sort going on, right? Yeah. I'm trying. Just got Paul's new book. The Clown Book, is it out? Is that the one you're talking about? Paul from Understanding Conspiracy? I haven't been keeping up. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know which one you're talking about. But it does feel like there's been kind of a shift, but I'm not convinced it's a shift, quote unquote, for the good. I mean, I'm not going to be a pessimist here, but I'm also not super optimistic anymore, you know? And I know Shelley's been doing the whole full preterism thing, and I think you guys are all on the same page with me on that one. I don't think Revelation 21 has happened yet, definitely. But so, yeah, are we about at the, I mean, I feel like we've got to be close to the end of the short season if that's where we're at. If that's where we're at, that we've got to be close to the end of it at this point. And I don't know that we're going to figure out the actual timeline. Pessimistic. That sounds good. I like that. Yeah, I like that. We'll be pessimistic. That sounds good. But yes, I'm a big water drinker. I drink a lot of water. But I found out that I'm not utilizing my water properly because whenever I go to the chiropractor, she almost always asks, are you drinking your water because you feel like you're dehydrated? So I know something isn't working right. I got Cultivate, what's it called? Cultivate, Elevate, that one guy. I got his package. Well, I made my own package, but the pearl powder, which I still haven't, since it's collagen, I'm feeling like clean, unclean. I don't know. I just don't know. And then mushroom, it's a mushroom mix of like 6 different mushrooms. And again, that's one of those things I don't know. Clean, unclean. I don't know. But I'm going to try it because I figure most of the medication, prescription medication that is available is probably not from clean sources. So I'd rather try these natural things. So it was that the pearl powder, the 6 mushroom mix, and dragon's blood. And I've been taking them for a little over a week now. And I went through a time period of several days last week that I was, and over the weekend, that I was so sleepy. I mean, I slept 12 hours a night for like 3 hours, three nights in a row, and took a nap. So I was getting, and those naps were a good 2-ish hours long. So I was getting about 14 hours of sleep for about 3 days. That's a lot of sleep. And I tend to be one of those people who needs 9 hours anyway. So I feel like I sleep my life away as it is. And that was kind of frustrating. The Clown Book on Amazon. What's it called? I don't remember his last name. Is it called like Clowns and Nephilim or something? Nephilim look like clowns. It actually came up. Oh, Paul Stobbs. Oh my goodness, I've got to show this so that anybody. Oh, how exciting. I'm sure he will not see this, but congratulations. Book. Yay. He's putting it in a series too, it looks like. Neat. Awesome. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm going to put that in my cart and hope that I have money at some point in time to actually get it. Neat. Awesome. So I'm excited about that. Yay. Yay. Congratulations, Paul, if he happens to see this. I'll have to help promote it too. Share it with everybody. Because I know that's going to be a good one. He's been researching that for a long time. I wonder how much pushback he's already got 11 reviews. If you guys get this book, do please remember to give a review. Reviews means so much. Reviews are so important for authors. And if you've bought mine, or if I sent it to you or something and you like it at all, please leave a review for me too. I would appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Awesome. Cool. Anyway, okay. I don't want to stay on here for like forever. I've got another meeting after a little bit. I just wanted to get on while I was thinking about this and just, hopefully give a little bit of encouragement that, I know the T guy is going to get a lot of traction out of what's going on. I don't think it matters what he does. He's going to get traction no matter how he handles this. But like Rachel said earlier, he looked pretty downtrodden, pretty like a whoop pup. I mean, and I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about. I just can't imagine what's going on in the background. If maybe he just didn't feel good. I mean, that would have been a pretty stressful thing. It would have been hard on the system, period. If he's sad because, of the loss, or if because he wasn't taken care of, if he's feeling, like the people around him, like he can't trust the people around him. I bet that's got to be something there, because that shouldn't have happened. What happened? There's no reason that should have happened, other than it was orchestrated by somebody. And if he had orchestrated it himself, I think they would have made sure nobody else got hurt. Because although I have never liked the guy, as just what I know about him, and I've been watching him since the 70s, right? Off and on. I've never liked just his personality that he puts out. Hi, Sherry. There had to have been a lot of emotions going on. Yeah, had to have been a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, I just there's something. And then they turned around and they announced the VP right then, basically. So it's like, wow, they're like, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't even. All I know is I'm agreeing with the things that I'm seeing out there is we cannot let this divide us, and we cannot believe everything. Just take what you see there with a grain of salt. Like I said, that one video, I think they did a very good job. They didn't draw any conclusions or anything. They just showed what witnesses were talking about on various news networks. And it gave a nice, well-rounded of what the people there had went through. And I think that's very good. But I think we just need to not let this do what happened in 2020 and that huge division. In 2019, I was doing a project with the newspaper that was, we were interviewing people to see how they felt about the political situation at the time. And we were doing it every few months or something. And because I am and extremely conservative, I picked Democrats to interview to balance me, to make sure that I wasn't putting myself in there at all, and to find out what they were saying. And I enjoyed it. It was amazing. I was interviewing these Democrats in our local area, and I would end up having hour or two conversations with them. Very just delightful, enjoyable conversations. And I found that both sides care about people. As far as regular, everyday, people, we just disagree on how people should be taken care of. Okay. And I just really came to realize it's two wings of the same bird. And the people up there don't care about us and are doing their own thing and passing their own stuff, because the most conservative, quote unquote conservative of them, will say, oh, I passed this conservative thing and this conservative thing and introduced this conservative thing. But you go and you actually read the bills, and the stuff that they're allowing through is not. And then you have the Democrats on the other side, and I get these press releases still, and the Democrats, it doesn't matter what's going on, they're whining, moaning, groaning, whining, crying, and complaining that people aren't being taken care of, or that people don't have the freedom to do whatever they want to, or whatever. And it doesn't matter what to them. It doesn't matter what happens. There's nothing ever going to be good enough for them. And it's sad, because to me, the Republicans are very deceptive, and I've known this, but it's really been hammered in the last several years. They are very deceptive. When a Republican is in office, we slide more towards socialism faster than any other time. But it's always behind the background. They'll cut taxes and they'll do things in the foreground that will make people really happy, but in the background, they will feed the bureaucracies the most. Okay, because then they can blame that on the person before them or after them. And then the Democrats, who are saying that they want to help the people so much, they will turn around and pass the things that are, again, just the opposite of what they say they're doing. But again, it's in the background, and it ends up in the hands of the bureaucracies. This is where that Chevron doctrine is such a good thing. Not that it's going to go anywhere, because they're going to find loopholes. But both sides have used the bureaucracies to do what they want to do in the background, while in the front ground, they're trying to make their people happy. Okay. And it's sad, because you go and you read these bills, and it doesn't matter who signed them. And you can look up who signed them, and sometimes it's going to surprise you. Even here in Oklahoma, it is very surprising who ends up signing what bills. Yeah, two wings of the same bird. Exactly, Milk and Honey. Exactly, two wings of the same bird. And we just really, really need to pray for discernment, not just for ourselves personally, but we need to pray for discernment for everyone. Pray for your neighbors to have discernment. Pray for, and I want to be careful in praying for people's eyes to be opened, because God knows whether or not they are ready for their eyes to be opened. You know what I'm saying? Jesus said, those with the eyes to see and the ears to hear, let them hear. He never said, pray for those with the eyes to see. He never said, God, open the eyes or ears. He said, this message is for those with the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So I think we need to take that, note and be careful, but we can pray for discernment. God, give discernment to people, because people are being hurt by the unelected bureaucrats. Hurt by, we're fixing to lose our grocery store. This isn't necessarily public knowledge, but it is. We're in a very rural area. We have a large county. Our county is the size of some states. I think that's our county is the size of some states. I don't think people realize that. And we only have 2 grocery stores. 2. And we may soon be down to 1. And that's sad. That's sad. But I think it's purposeful. And it's very much, I can't say it's all because of bureaucracies, but very much. I think that's a big part of it. Yeah, always take any politician's word with a grain of salt. Exactly. And, we need to take our neighbor's words with take my word with grain of salt. Like I've told you guys before, I argue with myself on a regular basis. I don't even agree with myself. You guys should not be listening to. Hopefully, I'm just presenting. All I am trying to do is help present and bring information to people, and just kind of maybe give a different perspective. And I love hearing other people's perspectives on things. There's a few things people aren't going to probably be able to convince me of, but I appreciate their perspective. Like the idea that California is actually Israel. I don't think so. There's too many things in Scripture itself that tells me that cannot be physically where it's at. But I appreciate the thought process that people go through to come to that idea. So it just, they're looking at things, right? And that's good. Yeah, you pay a little bit more for the smaller grocery stores, right? But you want to keep it open. Exactly. I feel that way about the little bitty post offices too, because they've been consolidating post offices for a long time, and I hate that as well. Because the more they consolidate post offices, the worse, and the more they charge. And remember, inflation and the price of stamps goes hand in hand, and always has. And if you go back in time and you look at the price of stamps going up, inflation and the price of everything else has gone up with that. So, and they're fixing to, or just did, raise the price of stamps again. They were going to be like, 60 cents a stamp? It's sad because, I want to go back to actual paper mail, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to. You know what I'm saying? It's so much cheaper to send an email to somebody or a text than to send something in the mail. And I've got, a lot of people I'd like to send mail to, but I can't afford to send out that many, holiday cards or anything. It's expensive to buy a roll of stamps. It is. And so, yeah. Oh my goodness. But yeah, make sure you're growing something. If you can have a complete garden, and like, I'm not a canner. The girls made some sand plum jelly, which actually came out. They forgot to double check and make sure we had pectin. So it's sand plum syrup, but they're using it on their pancakes and stuff. So Okay, it works, right? But, other than sand plum jelly every couple of years, I don't do much canning. I will freeze some things, but yeah, I'd rather make like sauerkraut is I'd rather do stuff like that. But hmm, yeah, how much will people, if the internet goes down, will people actually be able to send things in the mail? That's what's concerning me. Will we be able to keep up with each other? Because whenever I moved over to the platform, my own platform, and where I've got my group and everything, so I'm not censored. One of the reasons in there too is so I can start getting mailing addresses of some people who want to share that with me, so that I can, things go south, then I would like to be able to mail them a letter or a card, and like people who write for the magazine and magazine subscribers, and I would love to be able to, like send them a copy of the book or something as a thank you for being involved, right? Um, so I want to be able to have that option and those addresses to be able to do that. And this is a way that I can do that, and you know, uh, in a nice, uh, secure fashion. We'll put it that way. So yeah, on top of being able to have a group that's not censored and we can say whatever we want to and not have to put everything in code like I have to do on the platform, on the public platforms. Oh, working on a ham license. I got a ham book so that I could learn radio. It makes no sense to me. And there's never a class close enough to me at a time when I can do it, for me to get a ham license. I really want to do that. Um, Hunky Hubby is not there at all on the ham license thing. It's just another regulated thing to him, I think, is part of it. Anything that you have to have a license for, he's like, that's not a good idea. In the same way with kind of memberships, because I've thought about trying to become a member of RCAF, because they're very constitutional and trying to help people get away from the markets type of thing, in ranching. But becoming a member of anything, it's hard, because it seems like once they start a membership thing, or once you start licensing, then lobbyists and bureaucracies and all the kit and caboodle start going in there and having something to do with it. And yeah, so anyway, I have around here somewhere, I've got a CB. I don't have it in a vehicle, and I would like to do that. I would really like to rig up one of our trucks. You guys are going to laugh at me. I would really like to do storm chasing. Okay. I would like to have a truck, not just like stupid kind, but just have a truck geared up with all of the radios and stuff and some of the fun equipment, just so I kind of could. We are in an excellent spot where we're at that I could pick up a lot, and I could, contact. So it would be good. But yes, send me the information. Share the information, because I just haven't. Oh yeah, I'm always outside when when a tornado goes through, a big thunderstorm and tornado and the lightning and stuff, that's when I feel the best. The ionization of the lightning in the air, to me, that is cleaner. Coming to the Chaser Convergence this week. Is there a Chaser Convergence? I don't know. You need to send me the information. I have been out of pocket. I really have been. I haven't been paying attention to the things that have been happening locally too much. So, I mean, other than the train wreck, did you guys see that? I did post about there was a derailment. I wondered when there would be a derailment close to us. And there was, and I posted about it. I put it on TikTok, the information that I had. I can't say, I mean, did you see an orange plume? Because some people said they saw an orange plume, but I don't know. I don't know. Ionization on the beach. Well, I'm in Northwest Oklahoma. I am so far from, I mean, a beach, other than the lake. You know, it's not the same, the lake, compared to the ocean. I've only been to the ocean once that I remember anyway. Because I guess we lived in Florida for a little bit whenever I was a baby. But on our anniversary, we went down to Pensacola and went to the beach. So that is the only time I have been to the ocean, was the Gulf of Mexico. I would love to go again. I've got a friend that lives in Portland, Oregon. It would be fun to go over there. I've got a friend that lives in the state. I think it would be a blast. Now, California, I have been in California one time. I have no desire to ever go again. And it was just, we landed, we went, it was for a midwifery, an intensive midwifery training thing. So, I mean, we landed, we went to the place where we were getting the training and did the training, and then we left. So we didn't do any sightseeing whenever we were there. And you know, I grew up thinking that California was going to fall into the ocean at some point in time, so I've never wanted to be there. So anyway, but I think the East Coast, there's part of me that thinks it would be neat to go, you know, like do some traveling up and down the East Coast. But I've heard you can't go to the beach unless you pay, at least in some places. And I don't know. The East Coast stuff sounds really, yeah, Easterners have some strange rules and laws and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I never thought about ionization at the beach, but I guess all the salt and stuff. I bet I've never been in a hurricane, so I bet that would be an interesting experience. But the tornadoes are fun. You know, I don't want anybody to get hurt in a tornado or anything. And it's always sad whenever it hits a populated area. But most of the tornadoes out here are out in pastures and stuff. So every once in a while, you know, somebody gets hurt, and that's sad. I hate for anybody to get hurt, but I like tornadoes. Oh my goodness, I've gone an hour. Girls, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope my ramblings have, you know, helped you somewhere. And I will try to get a book video pretty soon. Emmy and I will be on tomorrow sometime to continue our Ezekiel study. So if you guys are interested in Ezekiel, I've started a playlist on YouTube, and we're going through Ezekiel. So yeah, thanks, Rachel, for being here. I really appreciate you guys. And remember, you can make it through the dust storms of life with God's divine help. Bye.